Rhythm rails, rhythm rails, rhythm rails, rhythm rails, rhythm rails, rhythm rails, rhythm
rails. Welcome to the first episode of the Railyard Podcast.
Ooh, the Railyard.
Yes, pilot episode, so we have no idea what's going to go on here.
Sick.
We're going to kind of figure it out as we go. Cheers.
Cheers
Thanks
to the
for coming.
Railyard.
We got my good friends here, Che and Sarah. Or do y'all want me to do your DJ names? Ceviché, SHRAY?
Either works,
Either or.
respectively. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
us.
Respectfully, Che, Che and Sarah. No, okay. So, I mean, do y'all want to like introduce yourself and like what you are for VHS or what VHS is, or kind of like how we all know each other?
Sure, you ladies.
Yeah. Okay. I'm SHRAY. By DJ.
Hi, SHRAY.
I do a little bit of everything for VHS. Run the socials. Help with event logistics, artist relations, money.
He says you're basically like the CEO, CFO.
CFO.
Do what
You're
I
the
can.
CEO? Who's the CEO?
I guess technically I'm a CEO, but I'm not gonna lie. Only because I make decisions. But in terms of like, I would say she's like the COO.
You're just the veto power guy. She's doing all the real.
High key. Yeah, we split it pretty
He
much.
manages a lot of the emails, which
Yeah, I
I'm
do a lot of
happy
the
to.
logistics too. I mean, in terms of like marketing, though, marketing, she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like she is done like leagues, like leaps and bounds of improvement on our marketing, especially for our Instagram page.
So like, how would you guys describe VHS? Like, what is VHS? Is it a collective? Is it a label? Is it a party series? Is it a community?
I would say collective and community. I mean, collective of, us DJs that, have come together to make the group, but that's really only 50% of it. The other half of it are really the people that show up to our events. And, you can have the most amazing DJs ever, but if you don't have a crowd of really amazing people to show up and bring energy and, kind of round out the room, it doesn't really matter,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and building on that, I would say like VHS is like half like event series and half sound system. Like I want to bring that term back. Like back in like the 90s, 80s, there was like DJs who put their own events on as groups, but then they also like had their own community around those events. And like I think like as a sound system, we each have our own unique sounds. Like Sarah does trance, you're like bass music. I'm a little jack of all trades. We have like Sam is techno. We all bring our own kind of contributions to the general collective, which makes it a true collective, in my opinion.
Okay, so I feel like when I got brought on to VHS, I really still even today don't have a concept of like how long ago has VHS been a thing. Did I get in like a couple weeks after it was a thing and it was gathering the crew and let's get the team together, or was it like VHS has been around and it was only a couple people and like let's start to
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you tell the origin story?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're
sure.
the founder.
Get the lore.
Yeah, sure. What I would say is, VHS, our first ever event officially was Jupiter Disco. I think it was June 18th. It was like the day before my birthday. So it's basically, that's easy for me to remember. That's why I did that. But then when I brought everybody else on, that was like June of 2024 is when I started it as parties. And then when I brought in and made it a collective and brought on more people to like take on roles and kind of add different perspectives, that was in January of 2025. And that's kind of when I brought on and made like the chat and like all of us kind of brought on.
Wait, so go back early on, it was just you throwing events?
Yeah, for the first 2024, it was pretty much just me doing, and then a little bit into like 2025 too. It was pretty much me doing the like logistics, outreach to venues and stuff. And Sarah was helping out, especially in terms of like marketing back then as well.
Yeah, it was more like I think I was on probably I think our second party ever was Hall Phone. I was on that lineup.
Yeah. Killed it.
So definitely was like playing events and then came on in like a more official way, like beginning of 2025.
Yeah.
And so then what was the switch where you're like, let's assemble a team together, or?
Yeah. What the switch in my mind was just that like I always tend to like gravitate towards like collective and community, like collective kind of roles, like group, like kind of like when I work with people, I start off as a duo. I like to work on projects together.
Yeah.
But for this specific, for VHS, I wanted to start something by myself. And then when I had an idea of what it was, and when that concept had momentum, that's when I saw like this is the time to bring on more people to kind of ease the load for me.
Yeah.
At that point, there was so many events. There's so many
Yeah.
events reaching out, so many
As a
events
team,
going
you
on.
can do more. You can
I
accomplish
feel like
more,
we're
and-
really kind of reaching max capacity of event planning.
It's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah,
I was
it
like,
is.
I was averaging like 3, like for the first half a year of VHS, I was doing like 3 or 4 events on average a month.
Yeah.
So while I was booking out events, I was always still working on the last stages of marketing for the last event. So
I feel like a lot of people don't understand how much work goes into putting on an event where you're reaching out to venues, booking lineups, doing promo and all that. Like part of this podcast in my head, I want people to like learn something and take something away. So I'm like, you know, like, do you guys want to talk about maybe like everything that goes into putting on an event, like for VHS? I feel like y'all are like, you from start to finish, y'all are involved in every aspect of the VHS process, and even some stuff I don't really know what goes on behind the scenes.
yeah,
It's like, you know, it starts with what? Starts with an idea for an event, or it starts with a venue? And
Could
you
be
get-
either.
Okay.
You know, sometimes we're just brainstorming and come up with something that we're like, oh, that's an amazing idea. We should action on that. And, you know, Che usually takes the lead on kind of the start of that process of making that event come to life.
Well,
Or
so what's an example of that where it's like we should have an event that it's like this kind of lineup and this is the vibe? Like that's the idea of an event, and then you go and find like what's the venue that would be the right fit? Like what's that first kind of like?
yeah, I mean, it could be. It's a variety of things. Like I remember specifically, there was a night we were just out at Hollow, just on a night out, messing around and like going out at like a Resolute party, and
He's smiling so much. I know he.
we
had a good
literally
time.
just, you know, we were just
This guy had a
like
good time.
off a bender
on
Like the
demon
best
time,
plans are made.
and we were listening to one of the DJs in the main room and just literally looked at each other and we were like, this is fucking awesome. Like,
Yeah, shout out Descartes.
yeah, shout out to Descartes. And we were like, we got to book this guy. So like,
Okay,
you
so
know-
that event was all around one artist.
Yeah.
You're saying. So you're like, we need to book this guy, and then you. I don't
We
know if this
literally
event
just,
happened
you
yet.
know-
Did
Yeah, it
okay,
was
so
a silo party with Descartes headlining.
You built the event basically around this idea of, oh, we should book this person.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the event, okay.
Yeah. And
yeah, we literally just connected with him after his set and, you know, told him we really enjoyed it and we'd
Yeah.
love to work with him. And, you know,
I feel like most people, I mean, I didn't even really think about that. Like most people wouldn't really know that like you could play one set and someone could literally
Yeah.
build a whole event around you
yeah.
from, you know.
Um,
Because in my head, I thought it was like, you know, you think of an idea for an event, this would be good, and then you kind of like, okay, what would be a good venue for it? And it's like y'all are saying we just had a great time
Yeah.
at a show. We're like,
Sometimes-
okay, you know,
really good ideas come from just being out together. I feel like a lot of us go out together often. And, you know, sometimes when we're out and we're really enjoying something, it's really easy to, you know, come together and be like, okay, this is amazing. Like, how do we translate what we're experiencing right now into our own take on
right?
it?
How can
Yeah.
you give that experience to more people and, you know,
And do it in our own flavor, I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
right?
Also, yeah, like, I think I would say as a split, like between those events, like you asked before, like how many are planned ahead of time, and then we find the venue. How many times we have the venue, and then we're kind of just looking for it to fill out the night.
Right.
I would say it's like 60-40.
60 being what?
60 in favor of the venue reaching out to us first, and then we have the ability
Okay.
to be like, let's curate an idea.
So-
And sometimes they naturally come together. Like I think, you know, that we were probably already in talks of doing another party with Silo at the time, and then, you know, kind of falls into place of like, oh, this would
a
be
good fit for this.
exactly.
Yeah.
You were there when we made the plans with Rhythm Cartel for Silo January 2nd. Like we were at what was it, 333 Stag at the afters, and we ran into
Golden Records one?
Yeah,
Oh.
we ran into we were there with Josh. No, actually, that was after Superior Ingredients. I don't think you were there, actually. It was another
Okay.
time. But I basically, like, that night I was like, hey, I already have a Silos show like lined up. We do pretty well. I think my concept here is like I want to do techno into like melodic techno, which is what their collective is more about.
Okay.
Kind of like an easier, like a reverse build of tension in the night. And they were down, and we just promoted the hell out of it. Worked out. It was super successful. So
Okay, so then if in my head, if those are like kind of two ways that you can form an event, which is like build an event around an artist you want to book, or connect with a venue that you want to work with, and then build an event for that would fit that vibe.
yeah,
Does that mean that kind of you guys have an ongoing running list of like venues you want to work with
Yes.
and artists you want to work with?
yeah,
100%.
Okay.
If you're throwing,
Always.
if you're throwing events consistently with like these venues, usually they'll reach out to you sometimes, and like it's better to be proactive. But sometimes, a lot of times, they'll reach out to you and ask you, "Hey, we have like this date for this date. Like, would you be open to this?" Like,
Yeah.
And from there, you already have an established relationship. So, but if you are starting off and you're never like cold outreach first time with a venue, I would recommend coming to them with a plan and a proposal.
Right.
Because that way it gives you a little bit more credibility.
You have to get to the point where venues are reaching out to you and you know, you to
Yes.
prove the success for, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, but if it's your first event, it's great to have an idea and then
Yeah.
go to them with that. Yeah.
Okay, so then like let's say someone's watching and they've never thrown an event before, like what would you recommend somebody who goes, I want to start throwing events? I mean, what's the reason you start throwing events?
Yeah, I think the best motivation to starting an events is not money, and it's not like trying to get booked yourself. It's like if you see that there's something in the community around you that's missing that you know that you would enjoy, odds are there are other people who will agree with you on that. So throwing these events, when you start off if you get into events to make money, I got a bridge to sell you, all right? But like if you're going into them to just like throw, like we went into this to throw events that were easy. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we went into these events specifically because I saw that it was harder to get booked as a starting out DJ
Right.
for different genres, and I saw that a lot of different parties that were genre specific had a set kind of lineup, and only variably had like one different name. So for us, what I wanted to throw events that were like amorphous in genre, so I could throw any kind of party, and two, I would always go to open decks to kind of constantly find new artists that may not be completely new DJs, but they're like new to the area, trying to build
Right.
community. And that's, I think,
New
the
to
best
this
way.
scene.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Building an event is hard and it's daunting. It can be expensive. So that's not something I'd recommend for everybody. Sure,
it's brutal and it's
Totally
chews up and
possible.
spits people out. You know, people try to
Yeah.
start doing events. I mean, I did the same shit. I haven't thrown an event in a year. It is
Yeah.
in this city it's tough.
100%. But I think just getting out and getting in the spaces you want to be and
Yeah.
connecting with people is hands down the easiest avenue to, play any party that,
Yeah.
kind of suits you and fills your interests, basically.
And I feel like for
Yeah.
people that throw events, the hottest commodity, the most ideal person is somebody who just shows up to the events, supports the events, Like I
And
feel
is
like
good.
what you're saying, like if you just show up and support, buy tickets,
Yeah.
go to
I mean,
the events,
obviously
like,
you have to have talent to back up,
yeah.
showing up and being an active community member.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, just
kidding, I'm just
no,
kidding.
but seriously, that's seriously.
I'm
no,
just kidding.
There
Yeah.
are people who get booked who are not as talented, maybe not as good of a producer as other people,
They know the
but
social game. Of,
yeah,
They're putting
they
in the
show up.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah. So then when you were brought on, were you brought on as this, like you knew like you're going to be this involved, or is it kind of like a gradual, like, like you said, you played a lineup
Yeah.
first, right?
I had
did you-
no idea what any of this was going to be.
Just unraveled.
I, even got started in the first place because Che and I actually met the year prior at a show, just like out randomly one night.
Yeah. Did
And
he photobomb you or something?
Yeah, just
Diabolical
like-
photo. I'll send it to you so you can put it here in
Yeah.
the video.
yeah, randomly met out and kind of that night had chatted about, obviously we were both at a show and had similar interests and got to talking about DJing and, just the entire industry and, had kind of found out he had been a DJ for a long time. It was something I was looking to get into. And after that show, obviously we had stayed in touch and I actually just went to the first event that he threw. You know, and that was like kind of the start of me getting on lineups and enjoyed it. And then from there, it kind of just grew. I mean, I was playing on a decent amount, not every lineup that he, you know, was putting together, but really like discovered that I enjoyed the planning side of it.
Right.
And, you know, kind of just like naturally came
You
together.
enjoyed it and started doing more, getting
Yeah.
more responsibility. And
Just because I wanted to, you know, like obviously when we kind of
Like, it
first
happened
started
naturally.
playing all of these parties, like we didn't know what this was going to turn into today. And we don't know what the future holds for us this time next year.
Right, right.
Which is the really exciting part about it.
There's something weird with creating something and not knowing what it is yet.
Yeah. We just did it because we were all friends and having a good time.
Yeah.
And
our friends are friends. You know?
yeah.
And now look at the family we've created.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Y'all, you know.
The reason why I kind of like wanted, my bad, what I wanted Sarah on board with me here is because like when we were starting out, like Sarah would not only show up to our parties when she wasn't DJing, when she was bringing friends, but also like she was proactively trying to like help in planning. Like when I would throw events, like even when we opened up everybody to making it a collective, like Sarah was always very proactive in being like, hey, like, can I do this? I would love to, like, she was the one who came up to me and was like, hey, I would love to like take over the marketing for this. Like it's like kind of a passion of mine. So I was like, hell yeah, thank you. And like and then like from then on, it's always just been like whatever role that she kind of like is open to doing. I would never like ask her to do anything unless she wants to or she can, because you know we're busy people. But like she's been super proactive and like it just was natural in that sense that when she has so much like investment herself, that I recognize that and elevate her in terms of like decision making for our collective group because she's that invested.
Yeah, I mean, when you get into this kind of stuff, you have to do it because you love it and you are invested in just seeing people come together and succeeding in that way, because it is really tough. It's tough to make money. It's tough, you know, we're in the middle of New York City. There's a million parties happening on any weekend night. So, you know, it's a labor of love and you have to be really committed, I think, to the success of what you're trying to build.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess like I feel like VHS has kind of leveled up the venues that we're throwing shows at.
For sure.
So like what is that? What was that change of going from kind of, you know, back room bar, kind of small venue style, like hybrid bar club,
micro clubs to like small clubs.
At what point, you know, now venues are reaching out to VHS. Now, you know, you're having to narrow down like, oh, you know, people want you to throw an event at their venue. So how do you go from going, hey, I have a great idea for an event. It's like a backroom bar, you know, here's the thing. And then now, you know, silo, you know, selling out silo, like filling rooms at these massive venues, and now those venues are reaching out. Like what change happens? Is it you throw a bunch of successful events at these small bars, and after doing 10 successful events, then venues start to hear about you because you're making the money?
Yeah, I think
it's always just
it's
one-upping the venue just a little bit and a little bit.
Yeah, it's consistency, and it's also like I think one thing that really hobbles a lot of people who are like starting off with events is documentation. Like document your sales. Bar sales like is really important. I've never had to pay a room fee for any venue that I've worked with because like if they know from your like I have an Excel
You have the
spreadsheet.
receipts to prove it.
Yeah, I have the Excel spreadsheets of accurate documentation of all parties we've done. They know the size of these parties. So if you do like $3,000 on a Wednesday at Jupiter Disco, they're gonna be like, okay, they packed out Jupiter Disco on a Wednesday. Let's hear them out.
It's almost like numbers talk. Like you don't even need to pitch them an idea for an event. You're just like, here's what the bar sales were, and they're like, okay, trust.
Yes.
You
It's
don't
just
need-
like
they don't
gaining
need to be
experience
convinced.
on a resume, you know?
Yeah.
And getting to that point, it's just throwing events, starting with small rooms because it's obviously easier to fill those out, make them feel like a little more cozy. And I would say the two other biggest parts of that is building a community, like getting a community where people want to return. And then the third part is just making the parties fun. But if you build a community, I say fun, but honestly, fun can be so many different things.
You need people to have a good time at something to want to go to the next one.
Yeah, I use the word, sorry, I want to, just comfortable. is what I would say
Sure.
is better. If people are comfortable and they feel they could come to your party alone and feel comfortable, they
gonna
will come
say,
back every single fucking
the
time.
best compliment I ever heard about one of our parties was that someone came up to us and said, you know, I love coming to your parties because I feel like I can show up here alone and I'm never worried about it.
That's
like
great.
I can
Yeah.
show
That
up
is a
and I
great
feel like
compliment.
people are going to be friendly. They're going to chat, you know, and I can just come, have a good time. I don't have to be rolling with a crew.
Yeah.
You just kind of show up and you can be a part of something that, you know, is consistent.
When you're in it because you're trying to build a community and that's your reason you're doing it, is that not the greatest thing to hear?
It's
Yes.
the best.
That's incredible.
I thought about that for like
That's incredible.
days after.
You know, anytime I'm down on myself, I think about that. And I'm
That's-
like, yo, like,
Yeah.
but beyond all the numbers, beyond the money, that is the greatest thing. Because that changes, like, that's someone who, if I remember correctly, that was someone who neither of us knew. They just
believe so,
showed
yeah.
up to one of our
Yeah.
parties at Jupiter Disco and have been coming to our parties ever since.
So cheesy, but I'm like, that's just the beauty of what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true
It's
just
community.
beautiful.
And I think one big thing, like what my secret tip that I would offer to anybody here listening who wants to like kind of get on the same page as us here is when you're starting out your events for the first time, most people are going to know you as a host. It's so important and it costs no money to just, when one of your friends shows up and you're with like 3 other people that might not know them, introduce them.
Right.
Introducing them to
You're
everybody.
creating the community, connecting everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you actively just connect people because they both know you, it makes it way less awkward. And
Right.
then they know 4 other people. So the next time, as they mentioned before, they come through and they feel like
They
they
don't
already
come alone because
Yes.
they know people
Exactly.
and their friends are there. And
Yeah,
the
they
next
know-
time they come, they have,
Yeah, they've been introed, but that's also why we're very selective on who we kind of really associate with our crew. Like there have been like some people like from some parties, especially collabs that we've done, where some of the crowds are like, a little bit, weird, a little bit lurky, leery.
when you say weird, what do you mean by weird? Lurky?
kind of like just-
creeping on women?
Yeah,
weird,
usually
or
groups of
like-
dudes who are just like kind of like off, not dancing, like staring at people
Yeah.
and stuff. And that's usually we only see collabs because like
And do you
collabs.
think? I mean, we're not going to say what collab it was,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
of
like,
course.
do you think that's like the way someone's going about building their community and event series? That they're kind of
Yes.
building a crowd for that kind of vibe?
the reason why you get into throwing events is ultimately what dictates how people like interact and the kind of experience people have there.
Sure.
If you're just there, like there's so many promoters who throw events trying to like just get money, get as many people in the door, and then after they get into the door, their job is done to them. And they feel like
Right.
at that point, okay, I did my job.
Just a business getting them, yeah.
But if you keep doing that and say like 75% of people have a good time, 25% don't, and they leave, then over time you're just losing 25%
Yeah.
every single time until no one shows up to your events, which is why a lot of parties you see die out, even though they start super strong. So how you manage that?
Yeah. Okay. So, as someone who y'all throw events from that perspective, what are the biggest factors that go into an event? So like it's a lot of different categories. Let's start with booking an artist. Like, obviously, there's got to be a minimum level of they can't be a bad DJ.
Yes.
But once that minimum level is hit, that they're not going to ruin a
What
room or
what is the other
destroy.
criteria?
Once that minimum level is hit, is it purely just they are going to bring the most people? And obviously that matters of the crowd that we're building. They bring the most good people. Like if you bring 20 creeps, that's not a good thing. But let's just say bringing solid people to the dance floor. Is it like this DJ is good enough and they always bring 50 people? Is that DJ going to get booked all the time over the DJ who's extremely talented that brings 2 friends every time? Like,
No, but if I was approaching that, if I was stuck with that kind of like switch, like a train track issue or whatever,
yeah, right.
I would just, which is cheap, I'd do both. Like what my
Right.
thinking is I would find a line, like if it's a headliner that's like kind of niche, I would stack the undercard, the lineup
Right.
with like local people from a lot of different communities that
But
are established.
in that sense, it's still what I'm saying, but just on a scale of a whole lineup and not one person.
Yes.
You are stacking a lineup, factoring in who's bringing people.
Yes.
Even though it might not be an individual level, if somebody can only bring 2 friends, you'll put them on a lineup with someone who brings a lot. But
Yeah.
is that kind of the main factor?
This is a huge debate in the DJ
Yeah.
community
Yeah.
right now. Whose job is it to promote and, defining what is the role of the DJ?
It's not even whose job because it could be the promoter's job.
It's
but the
everybody's
DJ
job,
but I know,
in my
yes,
opinion.
But I'm just saying it could be the promoter's job but a DJ who brings 50 people as a bonus. So it's not even whose job it is, but it's like if a DJ does this, is that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I in my head, if a DJ brings, which is crazy, 50 people every time, they're getting booked out every event, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that kind of signals to us if this person is really able to bring out that much of a crowd, like they have a following and people are interested in them as an artist.
Yeah.
You know, so I think if they're bringing...
You're saying nobody's going to have 50 people coming out if they're just hitting that minimum level of being a talented artist and they're not...
Yeah.
You're saying
I mean,
proves that they're good.
There are shit-ass DJs who bring like 30, 40 people.
This
I'm
is
not going.
true.
They play Nebula. They have residencies.
So as for VHS, are those kind of DJs someone you'd book?
No.
Where you just said like shit-ass DJs. Like someone you go shit-ass and they're going to bring 40 people.
No, like they have
They're
to
never
be-
going to get on a lineup.
No, they have to be somewhat compelling.
I just think that's not our mission. Like there are other places you can go in the city if that is you as an artist, you know, like I feel like you see that with a lot of more commercial promoters where that is their number one priority.
Right.
For us, you know, that's just kind of not supporting the mission that we have started.
Yeah.
So I think bottom line, that can't quite be enough.
Right. I would hope as someone who loves the art
Yeah,
and the craft of the art.
I would say at the very minimum, beyond being like a mediocre, just intermediate in terms of skill level, and then bringing a lot of people, you know, maybe that's combined with the fact that they've actually been a very active member of our community
Right.
or
Any community.
any community. I think we just have to see a little bit more of like, you know,
You need
their
to see
intention
a communal aspect and
and-
not a selfish
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
they're doing it for a greater good and not just to make themselves famous or...
Yeah. Also, I think people don't even realize. I think with commercial clubs, like booking is very numerically database, where it's like, can you
Yeah.
sell this many tickets
Right.
at this cost, like that?
because
But then,
that's
like,
never going to be our,
Yeah. And that's never, we're never going to be out here just like telling you how many tickets can you sell,
Yeah.
or like before we book you. It's like mostly it's just like, and especially in Brooklyn, it's a different energy. And so like I feel like a lot of booking, especially for like events where they don't just know like how many tickets they're going to sell. It's vibes based. Like your vibe, if you have a good Instagram aesthetic and you have like they meet you out and you're going to events and you're chill and you're cool. Honestly, no one can. I don't know if I book someone. I'm not going to be like, oh, this person's going to bring like 20 plus people. I know that they're going to bring people. At that point, if you make a lineup of names that get booked, are regularly getting, or like have established events, they have content out there. They're committed to this.
Yeah.
Then you can realistically put anybody on a lineup if you just promote it at that point. It just comes down to just putting it in people's faces as many times as possible. Like that's what it comes down to ultimately.
Okay, so let's get some tidbits of little tips for people. What are the most common mistakes you think you see artists make where you go, I would not want to work with them?
I think for me, my number one thing is like cold DM just saying, hey, I'm a DJ, let's collab, book me.
Yeah, effectively.
Okay.
That never works, right?
It never works.
Yes,
0%
I've gotten
of the
same-
time. So if
I've
you're
gotten
listening
those
to this
too, yes.
podcast and that is an approach that you have been using, I would recommend to not.
Yeah, people we've never met though.
In my head with that, it's like nobody's like, yo, we're thank God we're looking for. No DJ is gonna be like, hey, let's work together, and like, thank God this person reached out.
Yeah,
Like, there's plenty of DJs in the city. There's plenty of talented people. There's plenty of people
It's
who
impersonal,
are good.
which is my
Yeah,
problem with
right.
it.
It's like-
Especially
it's
when
like-
we're building a brand on
yeah.
literally being personal
Right.
and
Yeah.
having community.
So
Yeah.
you're saying the best way to go about that is to actually not just cold DM, yo, what's up? I'm a DJ, let's collab, or yo, put me on a lineup. But it's go to the VHS events, meet the people who are running the events, and go, I love what you guys are doing, and be personal. Don't ask to get on a lineup right away.
Yeah, or come out and we host a slew of open decks like in various capacities all the time. Come out and play for us, you know?
Wait,
Meet
actually,
us.
I might be getting this podcast out before, so
Sick.
we got open
Yeah.
next Wednesday at
Yeah.
Silo.
21st.
And we're picking someone from Open Decks?
Yep.
We
Okay,
You want
are.
to plug
We
it?
are.
Plug it.
All right, so we're gonna be. You want to do it? You got it.
No, you plug it.
Okay, all right. So we are going to be picking one DJ, a house DJ specifically, to open up our Bar Jade party, our Jade debut actually on January 31st, a Saturday. Come through, play your best set. We will be picking people based on the collective, the collective consensus of VHS, not just myself, because I can be super biased, you know. Yeah, so just come out. It's free. You sign up in person, 12 minutes. They're weighted to the earlier you show up, the more slots you get, the more chance of a slot you'll get. Okay. Stuff like that. Yeah, just like community-based stuff. Because like if you try to monetize your events super early, like what I see as an issue for some DJs or promoters is they have one good event and the next time they'll be like, all right, $15, a same space club, and people won't generally pay $15. They might the first time, over 3 or 4 times. They're not, unless you're adding value to them. There's like they're not going to justify spending overall like $60 in like 3 months at your events.
Right.
You have to bring them something. You have to give them an experience, and it might not be the DJs. With us, like our DJs are amazing. Our lineups are great. Don't get us wrong, but I feel like it's almost even secondary to like when you're there. When you're there, you don't feel like you're at like a club generally. It almost feels like a large house party.
Like a mixer, yeah, like a house party.
Yeah,
right,
like everybody kind of knows everybody a little bit. So
Right.
if you meet one person, they can introduce you to the next 3 people. And then like if you're into the scene, like it's just like Open Decks. You're meeting a ton of people. Our community is pretty much built of people who are in the scene, and then also like 60% like people who are just going to events who just want to show up and dance. They're friends of ours.
Yeah.
Circling back, I mean, obviously, if you wanted to edit back around to this, to what you mentioned before your question, like
Biggest mistakes.
yeah, like biggest mistakes, and these are just personal choices of mine. I wouldn't say they're cardinal sins.
But you're not the only one that feels that way. If they're not
Oh.
cardinal sins and it's just your personal
For
taste,
sure.
there's another person who goes, that irks me too.
Yes.
And there's someone that books and throws events too. you know?
Yeah. So you know what really grinds my gears? There's 2 things.
Lay it on us.
Yeah, there's the first one is when I announce a lineup at a venue that looks like it's gonna be super popping, and a DJ DMs me and asks me to get on the lineup. If the flyer is done,
It's too late.
It's cooked. It's slow for you. Reach out to
Very
them for
true.
next time.
Right.
Show up to that event. Make a big just show up there and just be cool. Just be a good presence there.
Right.
Be a remarkable,
genuine.
But if you think
but be
about it, I
genuine
mean,
too.
that's insane this is why I think people don't understand what goes into throwing an event. Where somebody sees you post, line up, and it's a flyer, line up at this, here's the date and everything, and someone's like, put me on it. And I think that person, and they're totally wrong, and I agree with you, that would piss me the fuck off if somebody said that. But in my head, I'm like, they don't understand.
Right,
what
they're already missing the
hell
point.
Yeah.
goes into throwing
Yeah.
an event. Like they literally don't understand that when that flyer is posted, months
There are
and
weeks, months
and months of
yeah.
work and planning and going back and forth with artists and locking in set times and going, are you good with this? Good with this? So much behind the scenes stuff has happened that, like, I don't think those people who DM, and it's their fault that they don't know this, but they don't realize that, like, this is the end of the process, buddy.
Oh, this is- yeah.
Like this flyer posting is not the like, hey, can I get in on a lineup? Like, you are so far behind.
Yeah, the
chance to
train
get
has
in on-
already left the station,
Yeah.
and you're talking to the conductor like,
Yeah.
yo, you're calling the conductor on your phone like, yo, bro, can I still get on there?
Right, but I think people don't understand. Like, okay, so like, there's 2 ways that I've understood from what y'all are saying that kind of goes into booking an event, which is 1, a venue reaches out and goes, we'd love to have you. And 2, hey, I've got an idea. This would be a cool event. Let's build a lineup around this. Let's build up a line around this artist. Or, okay, so like, from the conception of the idea of an event, what's the first move? Like, let's pick one. Venue reaches out to you. Big venue reaches out and goes, we'd love to have you. Do you start thinking about what dates that would work first? Do you start
They
thinking
would
about
usually
lineup
offer
first?
you a date. They would usually say like, this is our date that we have available. Does this work for you? Sometimes
Okay.
it won't. Sometimes
And
it
then-
will. Most of the time it will. Because
When the dates, let's say it's a venue you go, we've wanted to work with them. What's your factor into dates? Is it you guys only want to only one event a month? You don't want to do too many?
It's very fluid. Like we have months where we throw 4 parties in a month. Should we? I don't know. But you know, every month fluctuates a little bit. So that's, you know, ultimately not like a deciding factor. Obviously, if it's a venue that we're very interested in and it's been a goal of ours, we're flexible. Like we want to make that work because that's also part of it is
building relationships.
Yeah.
building relationships, being flexible. I would say another thing too is like when a venue like that reaches out, the first thing we're going to kind of think about, it's like, it's abstract. Like we're kind of thinking big picture and then honing in on details.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this specific venue reaches out, like what kinds of events do they normally throw at this club? What does their natural audience want to hear out of a club night from them?
Right.
And then how can we kind of tailor that to us, but also, you know, match back and make it a good fit for the venue that we're working with.
Oh, if I give an example, if that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really quick. Just to give, like, for people who are listening, just an example of what Sarah's talking about here. Like, for example, if Bossa reaches out to us for a club night, as opposed to like Silo. Silo has a lot of different genres, a lot of different artists, so it's more flexible in what we can throw there. Bossa, you can't really do a dubstep night at Bossa. It would be very bold. Wouldn't recommend it. They probably wouldn't even allow you to do it. You know,
Played dubstep Bossa before.
no, but I mean like a club night, like a full night, like you know,
snuck in a little.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
how
fine.
many people were on the dance floor. Me.
Let's go. I mean, well, if you
We
were
did
play-
it, though. We
if you were
played.
playing, then there wasn't you. So 0. Nice. You had me in the first half.
No, bro, you've seen me behind the decks. I was running in there, dancing for myself. You know.
No, but yeah, no, I just that's why like venue specific kind of things kind of matter in terms of what
So
you're saying.
okay, so then that makes me think. Okay, there's a running list of artists y'all want to work
There's
with.
always a running list.
There's a running list.
and
of
you
venues
also have
wanna
to have
work with.
goals.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that means there's a running list of ideas for types of parties, and then kind of it all just happens where a venue reaches out and there's this running list of we've wanting to do this techno event, we've been wanting to do this dubstep event, and or you go to a show and see an artist, and it all is this running list of everything.
Yep.
And it kind of collides randomly. Like
Yeah.
we've been wanting to throw a dubstep event. We just saw this dubstep artist who's great. And this venue just reached out. That could be a great place. And it just
Exactly.
kind of happens like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
So
just
just
kind of
all
let the
running lists.
serendipitous, you know.
You
There's
know.
no plane here, right?
Yeah.
We're just flying by
Yeah.
the seat of our ass on everything. We're just making
We're
sure-
off the
Because I
vibes
guess
like
some
half the
people
time.
some people might think that it's like from the beginning of the concept to the end, it's everything's been pre-planned and
No.
strategic,
No.
and sometimes it's just going with the flow of here's a bunch of things we want to do, and things just fall into place. And
Yeah.
this venue would be perfect for this idea.
We just take it one event at a time too. We don't even plan out like say 3 events in the future because we don't know who's going to reach out to us
Right.
when.
I mean, don't get us wrong. Like we have big goals where
Yeah.
we're, you know,
Yeah.
because you know, as a collective and community and promoter and you know all of those things, like you always want to think like, what is the next thing for us? You should be
Yeah.
thinking big, but you know, it's not always so programmed out where it's like,
You gotta be flexible.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
Stuff usually goes wrong. People will drop out from an event. You got to switch things
Things
on a
fall through.
dime.
Yeah.
And also, like, you want to be able to take risks. If you just do stuff that's the same thing every time, you're just gonna get real stagnant. It'll get boring, and people will
Right.
get tired of it. Try and do stuff differently. We've I think thank God we've only had like 2 events that realistically did not make profit. But like we also didn't lose money on them either.
Right.
We just like it's just a
Broke
matter.
even.
Yeah, so it's worth it to just put that out there and like put an event out there for a community. You
Right,
know?
right,
Because
right.
like if people are only like operating on like, will this get me another gig here? Will this get me another event at this place? Or will it get me money back? Then some genres are less marketable than others, specifically dubstep and bass music. In an underground sense,
Yeah.
big shows, sure, but like
No,
small
but even
shows,
big shows, there's less big dubstep shows than big house shows. Like
Yeah.
even on the big sense, there's less of a niche genres have less of a community on all levels, from touring to you know, amateur independent events.
but there's so many great dubstep artists, like bass music artists
Yeah,
locally who are on the.
sometimes
come
our
up.
goal is to put people on. Like
Right,
sometimes
yeah,
we
right.
got to play music that is not the most popular to like introduce people to something
Right,
that maybe
yeah.
they wouldn't have previously
Right.
considered.
Yeah. And the greatest part of VHS is like booking a DJ and it being their first booking, and then like 6 to like months or a year from then, they're just like like gigging regularly, like 2 or 3 gigs a month,
Yeah.
like solid shows, not empty rooms. Like that is also just as great as when someone comes through, when that person came through. It's like, yo, like, thank you so much. Like, it's like, I mean, not thank you so much, but this event is like so comfortable. The same way with like when someone, because like they don't remember it, but like for me, like just seeing like that you were the one to give them a chance and seeing what that and what they're where they are from then, it's like I'm not responsible for it. They grind it on their own.
Right.
But just
But
seeing
you
and
gave
recognizing
that extra bump, the boost,
Yeah.
whatever,
I
however
take-
much of a push it was, you've swayed the scales towards the positivity of the.
or just like I take pride in being able to recognize that. You know, recognize someone who's talented that I believe has the ability to go far. Yeah.
I mean, and to kind of go along with this conversation, not for nothing, like to kind of put our money where our mouth is, like we did book, I counted by flyer at the end of the year, we booked 75 artists
That's
for
insane.
2025. So
that's insane.
it is something that we love to do and we care about deeply and will continue to care about in, years to come. So
Okay, we're kind of running out of time a little bit, but there is like 2 things I want to touch on.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Okay. Go back to whenever you started. Like, what's the one piece of advice you'd give yourself now after everything you've been through? Everything you've been through, and you can go back to yourself in the past of when you kind of just started this endeavor, just started DJing, just started getting into music, just started, whatever that means to you. But 1, as a personal artist, and 2, specifically VHS.
okay, can we start with personal?
Yeah.
I think for me personally, if I could go back, I would tell myself to like be bold. I think, and especially as a woman, sometimes it's really easy to be like, no, like this collective or this venue would never entertain the idea of me playing with them because I've only done XYZ. But in reality, sometimes the people who are the most bold really do get rewarded. So I think I would have been a little bit more bullish when I was first starting out versus like being so absolutely confident in the things that I was going after.
Have you learned to do that now, and you do that more often now, and you see the
I try.
success rate
It's,
of it?
it's still a struggle, but
So you go like, I wish I was doing this the whole time, or you see the translation of.
yeah, I mean, definitely if you don't ask, the answer is no. Right. So, I think there's a lot to that.
Right.
And then also, and again, this is like very nuanced and I guess, personal to me, and not everyone is going to feel this way because your individual goals are going to differ from person to person. I personally wish I would have really taken music production seriously a lot sooner and really spent the time investing in that side too. And don't get me wrong, like putting a lot of attention and energy into DJing has paid off in tremendous ways for me. But, in order to keep growing, you have to kind of keep reevaluating what value you're bringing, to the city and beyond. So I think for any artist who does have a goal of, playing bigger things, it is an important piece because you have to kind of bring your own perspective to, the greater scene, and music production is a great way to do that.
Yeah, building on that. That's not my point, but building on that, yeah. Music production, I feel like, gives you such a good insight as a DJ too, because you're listening to it on a completely different level than as just an audience member. Now you have like the idea of how things are constructed, how layers of soundscapes are built, and that really changes how you kind of approach and understand music as a language, which I feel like DJs don't. A lot of producers will get that eventually.
It's like anything. If you understand how everything works from the beginning to the end of the process, like the more you understand that, the greater you can hone in on whatever your specific.
But I will argue on the other side. I think having a lot of experience as a DJ first, when I really started getting into music production, there were things on the flip side that I understood that I needed to incorporate going into like making a piece of music that would help me play it in a club. Versus just sitting down and being totally creative. So I don't know. There's value to both sides of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, what's your personal? You can go back to Che all the way in the beginning when you first started your little music career endeavor. Whatever that beginning point means to you, whether it's like starting to DJ or starting, getting involved in the scene. Give yourself one piece of advice.
I mean, I don't think I would really change anything that I did, but one thing that I started doing lately that I wish I started doing earlier, I would say, is watching and listening to other artists. Interviews, not even about music sometimes, but just to get an understanding of like who they are as a person and like what their approach is. I can't stress it enough. Like watch artists talk about their process, because like it's so enlightening. It won't tell you how to make your process because everyone's is different, but just like the way that they approach like thinking about that, it honestly it ages your brain as an artist.
Like this podcast. Fucking watch this shit.
Hell
Yeah, watch it.
Yeah, get some tips, you know? You don't have to spend $10, $15 to sit down and get this. We got you for free. No ads.
All right, what about specifically VHS? Go back to the beginning of VHS.
Specifically-
Is there anything you'd go, wish we did this for VHS from the get-go, or even just, I wish this one time we didn't make this mistake, or, or has everything been happening exactly how you've been, you'd wanted to play out?
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would say is just for when you're starting out, I'd say like the first year before you get like your solid footing on how your parties are and you have a solid community that is recurring, I would say be very careful about who you kind of associate with, because I love collaborating. I love working with other groups. I love to get the experience of like, how other people do their own thing. I'm a huge collaborator, but at the same time, there are some people who may kind of see what you're doing and see the momentum that you have and utilize their friendship towards you in order to kind of jump on to the momentum that you're bringing. And if they're not as kind of fervent in their motivation in promoting or producing these events, then that event will suffer, and it will suffer your reputation.
Right.
And it's not worth it to like mess with a relationship.
Suss out people more who you work with.
Yeah, just be very careful, be very mindful. Don't just work with people because they're your friends.
Right.
Definitely think about when a time is right. Just because someone reaches out to you and is like, I would love to throw an event, and you would, and there's an event that you have coming up, doesn't mean that event is the right event for both of you to collaborate on.
Right.
Definitely be more mindful.
Right.
I would say for me, being a little more detail oriented in understanding the full extent of what we're signing up for when we agree to do an event with a venue. Also, just putting it out there, everything is up for negotiation. So you really should read through a contract and be very mindful about making sure you know exactly what you're signing up for. And if you have questions, be vocal about it.
Yes.
Because that kind of is like the line between, running a successful event and then kind of ending up in some trouble of like, we did X, Y, and Z and then still lost money on this party. And, it's something we're really mindful about going forward of, really making sure we have a full understanding and partnership with the venues that we're pairing with. Yeah.
Right. And now that they're reaching out to us, we have more control over. We're not eager to just work with everyone. We have the power to kind of go, let's make sure it's the right partnership.
Yeah. And even just say no. Like,
yeah.
if it's not the right thing or I don't know. There's a lot of amazing people out here, like in Brooklyn and, the greater community, but there's also a lot of people looking out for themselves, and you just have to be really careful.
Yeah. And even on your first event, like if a venue is down to work with you and they're already down there giving you like talking bar split, at that point, like they recognize value in you. So like you have leverage to negotiate.
Right.
Obviously don't push it too hard, because you can, if you're really just.
It's your first event.
Yeah, if it's your first event, you absolutely need a place to throw it at, then like, yeah, don't press it. But if you can, you always have the ability to negotiate. I was never a good negotiator when I started this. I became a better negotiator from throwing these events, because you recognize that like when the the first time you do is the hardest, but then when they say yes that first time, most likely they will. It's there's a world of possibility. You know,
Yeah.
hungry dogs don't get fed. Hungry dogs do get fed.
Yeah.
Okay, so last thing is, did we have? I know we already plugged the VHS Open Decks, but is there any other events or anything that we want to shout out that are coming up, and personal too? Are you guys spinning anywhere? You guys want to?
I actually, on a personal note, have, you know, taken some time to just focus on actually making music and you know, taking this down period of the winter to, you know, get organized, work on side projects.
Yeah.
So nothing personally to promote.
Okay.
We do have a party at Jade Bar on the 31st. I know we sort of mentioned it earlier, that we are selecting someone from Open Decks on the 21st to play that event. And also I'll just, you know, not to be cringe, but big things coming. we
Got some announcements later on.
we're cooking some stuff up. We have some really exciting
For
things
summer?
For summer.
Maybe an independent ass weekend. Who knows?
Yeah, we have really exciting things we're excited to share with everybody. And we're thinking of new ideas every day. So
Awesome.
way more to come.
Might have some private MP3s coming your way. You know, have to think about it. But also, if she won't shout out, I'm gonna shout out Tears, SHRAY, and Callion. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Cool. I'm glad I didn't butcher that. Out on Spotify, her first single. Check that out. Every camera, every angle, all of you, check that out on Spotify. Big things on the way. I'm gonna release something soon as I get over my crippling imposter syndrome.
Thanks
Mic
so
drop.
much for doing this, y'all. Pilot episode. I'm fucking pumped. This is
Hell yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out. Choo Choo.
Cheers.